2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Police and prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the flew, and it happened right across the street from the police.
Did you know that P. Shy received a reduced sentence and would be released this year, just 2 hours after he committed an armed robbery and showed off his green McLaren on Instagram? Despite the widespread belief that he had snitched on the deal, his best friend, Big 30, stood up for him on Instagram.
If you see the paperwork, I do whatever y'all tell me to do, because my eyebrows, mustache, hair, I throw my chains in the river and jump in and if Shiesty snitch. Gonna take one to the and I'm alright.
Rappers were mocking him for snitching, but they didn't know the truth since academics clarified why his anxiety wasn't a fitting response to the charges against him.
Look like he's absolutely chilling in jail. My boy got a little Richard Millie, you know what I mean? Got the haircut all right. You know what I mean?
They be playing Fortnite Mobile.
In jail? Oh, he got the Timbs on. They look fresh as well. Yo, this so chilling in prison. He got 2 watches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 2 watches.
To understand his anticipated release date, it is essential to stay up to date on the most recent developments in his legal case. Documents from the murder site show that Shy and his companion were planning to build a shop to sell high-end sneakers and drugs. To wait for the seller, Shy and his child pulled up in a bright green McLaren. Shy went ahead and verified the validity of the sneakers rather than upholding their agreement with the seller, which gave his son plenty of time to set up shop and rob them before leaving. During the robbery, the shopkeeper ignored Shy's attempts to haggle for a cheaper price as the 2 men became agitated. Shy pulled a revolver from his waistband, and the 2 merchants ran away, hiding behind cars. But because they were moving too slowly, Shy was able to strike both men in the stomach and hip. He grabbed the shoes and cocaine, threw them into the McLaren Shy, and dove in when his child had ensured that the dealers were not trying to retaliate. As McLaren opened his butterfly door to enter, a bag fell out just before he fled the area. He left more than $40,000 in cash in a Louis Vuitton bag in the parking lot before he departed. Since it was a key piece of evidence against Shy, this was a grave error. The federal authorities who were pursuing him apprehended him a few days after he ran from the site, proceeded to the closest airport in Miami, and boarded a private jet.
Harbor Island says you're wanted.
2 months later, Shy was jailed for his case by Gufsy, who then released him on a $30,000 bond.
For pursuant to an arrest it was issued June 3rd, it's charging you. You have 2 attorneys here, or is it, I'm sorry, 2 attorneys in the state. Go ahead, do you want to announce again?
Brad Cohen and Sam Zegny, who are the defendant.
Have you had a chance to read it?
Yes, Judge, we have.
Following the conclusion of his case, DJ Academics provided us with the formal terms of his sentencing. No one initially took P. Shy seriously after he was convicted of robbery and weapons charges and sentenced to 63 months in prison.
Next year, maybe the year after. However, it looked like he's, taking responsibility of whatever happened and doing his time, not crying. Clearly trying to let people know he's straight. And I do think when he comes back out, granted, as long as it's not like too far from now, if he comes back in a year, he's good.
His situation is interesting because, despite the fact that many people thought he did it to further his rap career, they didn't realize that Shy had been doing it throughout his life. He just became more well-known.
This is probably the biggest artist that he signed in recent memory. But Pooh Shiesty had a history of crimes before he ever signed to Gucci. It ain't like, he was like a school and Gucci suddenly put him in a bad direction. No, he was already doing it. Gucci was around when he was doing all the crazy that they got him locked up for. It just is what it is.
Pooh Shiesty's in prison right now for somebody in the ass with a go while sitting inside of a McLaren. Yeah, some Grand Theft Auto shit. Right. You know what I mean? But that's who he was before that. So it's like, that ain't a surprise. And Gucci ain't gonna tell you like he can't just change who you are as a person. So it's like, you know, the people come up with the conspiracy theories and the life.
He had to acknowledge his inadequacies in the crime, even though the judicial system is very forgiving of those who made the entire procedure simple for the judge and prosecutors. People believe that Shy had snitched in this case, despite the fact that he had signed a proffer arrangement with the federal government, which is a situation in which a criminal gives the authorities specific information about their violation in exchange for a reduced punishment. Used an armed firearm to rob a police department across the street. The video footage captured by the police station's cameras is available for viewing. Numerous police cruisers arrived at the area as soon as they heard shooting close, and they promptly identified the robbery site, the car used in the crime, and Shy's bag on the ground with the $40,000. After searching Shy's Instagram and downloading images of him showing off his wealth, researchers attempted to match the serial numbers of the previously identified suspects for the crime. Shy would have been caught right away if they had evidence that the money in the bag matched the money Shy displayed on Instagram, and that Shy had the same amount of money from the crime site. Shy, however, confirmed this to federal authorities as if begging for his arrest when he posted these images of himself showing off the McLaren on Instagram. While he was incarcerated, they kept showing off the green McLaren, mimicking the music video for the song Gone Mia. Rappers persisted in calling Shy a snitch, which damaged his standing in the industry. When Shy wrote this statement, he wasn't silent after being accused of being a snitch. So that we can make sure I'm not now jailed and in trouble, tell Google to update my net worth. At the age of 21, I was hesitant to be plugged in from the middle of the prison, and I am still alive today. Please quit using my name before I purchase one of you. Jay-Z, you have no idea how wealthy I am. You are nothing. I fly from Tokyo to Tennessee on Sundays, and I wear the same clothing every day, not being concerned that no one would ever play with me both while I was in prison and when I was free, and I shall always be the king and the man of Memphis. Though you're only somewhat more powerful than Jungle Slick, how did you let a federal government man overshadow you, baby Larry? My loved ones and fans hold me down every day, so before you do anything with me, keep your hands in the game. I have something special in store for each and every one of you, I swear. You guys are done. Continue to detest deceptive advertising and backbiting. It's stuck like a treehouse and counting me out, so I'm landing. I have a grudge, but I'm working so hard for all of you. Pooh Shy may make a comeback to the music industry by 2026 under the stage name P, and the song is anticipated to be released later this year. It's fortunate that he obtained the better deal because he could have been imprisoned for an additional 5 or more years. However, Shy left a message in an interview prior to being apprehended.
Before I got signed, like breaking news. The verse on breaking news made everybody go crazy. Folks started saying I'm their favorite rapper already, so I'm gonna stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just made me go hard.
So the success kind of gave you the confidence to really keep it up?
Yeah, they rock with me for sure.
You should like the video if you're excitedly anticipating Shy's comeback and publication.